Hi, glad to see you on my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It's important to me. Have a good view. At the end of 1944, the forces of Naval Command South in the Adriatic Sea were locked in the northern part of the sea. The waters they controlled extended 50 miles from east to west and 50 miles from north to south. The overwhelming superiority of Anglo-American aircraft, constantly patrolling the waters of the northern Adriatic and attacking ports, determined their use exclusively in the dark. But at this time, to search for targets, went out boats of the British Coastal Force from Ancona and Zara. From these points to the search area, the British had only about 100 miles of travel. Final operations of the Schnellboots. After the loss of the destroyers TA-20 and TA-21 in November 1944, the second escort flotilla ceased to exist. The formerly part of the first escort flotilla and the newly commissioned destroyers, 8 in all, from TA-40 to TA-47, were merged into the 9th Flotilla in February 1945 under the command of Frigate Captain Friedrich Karl Birnbaum. All but TA-43, ex-Yugoslavian destroyer Belgrade, then Italian Sebenico, were modern 800-ton ex-Italian Ariete-type destroyers. The ships of the flotilla were based at Trieste and Polu, were in varying degrees of readiness and to fulfill their main tasks. Escort, mine-laying, reconnaissance raids, and patrols went out rarely. Light forces were much more active. Coastal transportation and mine-laying were mainly engaged in landing barges of the 10th Landing Flotilla, escorting 6th Flotilla rombots, and offensive and sabotage operations. 612th Flotilla of Special Means and the 1st Division of Schnellboothof, 3 groups. Meanwhile, the torpedo boats of Group 1, S-30, S-33, S-36, S-58, S-60, and S-61 were based at Pola. Group 2, S-151, S-152, S-154, S-155, S-156, and S-157 at Venice. And Group 3, S-621, S-623, S-626, S-628, S-630, S-627, and S-629 at Grado. The Germans, 3 landing barges and 3 rombots, had already at 21:05-21:35 on 3 January 1945 noted a defensive mine laying off Pola Rita 5, laying 150 mines. In the evening of January 4th, the Schnellbots S-33, S-60, S-58, and S-61 of the first group left Pola and headed for Molad Island. On the night of January 5th, they approached its southeastern coast and near Briguli Bay came across the patrol boat HDML 1163 of Sub-Lieutenant Kenyon Howden. The Englishmen spotted the Schnellbots moving in close formation, gave an alarm signal over the radio, and rushed to the attack, firing his 2 Oerlikons. The lead S-33 aptly fired torpedo struck the enemy in the center of the hull. HDML 1163, along with her entire crew of 9, was killed instantly. The Schnellboats then proceeded to Cape Lucino in the south of the island. S-61 fired 2 torpedoes into the empty harbor, which hit the barrier. On the night of 9-10 January, S-33, S-60, and S-58, S-61 returned due to engine trouble. Group 1 took 10 men from Marine Einsatz Commandos, 71, to the Italian coast near Ancona at the mouth of the Tena River. They had the task of blowing up a railroad bridge across the river and sabotage on 2 roads, and S-628, S-623, S-628, and S-630 of Group 3 landed 8 men from Marine Einsatz Commandos, 71 on the Dalmatian coast. Both of these operations went completely unimpeded, but the Schnellbots' next outing ended in disaster. On the evening of January 10th, S-30, S-33, S-60, and S-58 went out to the island of East with Marine Einsatz Commandos. 71 men aboard, Operation Gustav, but a compass failure caused S-60, S-33, and S-58 to fly out onto the rocks of Uni Island, 20 miles southeast of Pola. Attempts by S-30 to herd the stricken boats into the water failed. During the next 4 nights, the Germans, using other Schnellbots, rombots, landing barges F-1043 and F-1153, and the tug Coroni, tried unsuccessfully to rescue at least S-58. Next, the British intervened in the rescue operation. MTB 699 LT CMDR. John A. Montgomery, MTB 706 and MTB 698 of the 59th Flotilla, who were on a day patrol in the area, received a report from the guerrillas of 3 enemy ships aground off Unyi Island at about 0500 on January 16th. The British immediately rushed in that direction. They reached the island after dawn. Visibility was excellent, and after a short survey of the coastline from north to south, all 3 Schnellboots were found lying on the beach. MTB 698 fired a torpedo at S-33, which exploded on rocks 5 meters from the target. The boat was severely damaged by its explosion, and then finished off by fire from the 6-pounder dog guns, which caused the torpedoes aboard the German to explode. The British then transferred the fire of their 6 6-pounders to the other 2 Schnellboots and hit each of them with several shells, which allowed Montgomery to report the destruction of 3 enemy boats. In fact, the Germans themselves blew up S-58 at 0310 and S-60 at 0317 on January 17th. On the night of January 18th and 19, 3 boats of Group 1 and 5 boats of Group 2 conducted a sortie to Zadar, but encountered an MGB group, during which S-30, S-151, and S-152 were hit. On the night of 22-23 January, S-30, S-36, and S-61 mined the strait between the islands of Molat and Sestrunge, and then idled at bases for the rest of the month due to fuel shortages and bad weather. On the night of February 4-5, S-36, S-30, and S-61, together with the destroyers TA-41 and TA-45, attempted to conduct a mine-laying operation, but ran into British gunboats and accidentally dropped mines overboard to cover the destroyers. The next night, the same 3 Schnellboots put to sea again and again ran into British gunboats. During the battle, S-36 and S-61 collided and were severely damaged. The boats of the 612th Flotilla were mainly used as transports to land Marine Einsatzkommandos, 71 fighters, and to transfer agents behind enemy lines. But when the Germans learned that the air defense cruiser Colombo was in Zadar Harbor and the air defense cruiser Delhi was in Split, they decided to employ special forces to attack them. Operation Sophie. At 17 New on February 11th, 8 Schnellboots of Groups 1 and 2 left Pola in Sigale Bay, Lochinge Island, took aboard the exploding MTM boats and MEK combat swimmers with their transports, and headed south. 10 miles south of Zadar, 1 MTM and 4 boats with 8 saboteurs were launched, after which the Group 1 Schnellboats transporting them turned back. But then the operation was canceled and the returning torpedo boats picked up the assault squad. 2 Marine Einsatzkommandos 71 men were missing. The 4 torpedo boats of Group 2, moving towards Split, launched 6 MTMs at 23:30. During launching, one of the MTMs leaked and sank, while the other 2 were rendered unusable for the same reason. The remaining 3 MTMs proceeded to the target. The gunboat HDML 1237 patrolling near the entrance boom failed to see the enemy passage. At 05:45 on February 12th, the Germans were already in Split Harbor, and only here they were spotted and illuminated with searchlights. Off the port side of the Delhi was a landing craft LCF-8. 1 gunboat blew it up, damaging the cruiser at the same time. Another boat was destroyed by the Delhi's 20mm guns and another by shore artillery. All 3 drivers were captured. Schnellboots, on the other hand, arrived safely at Pola at 0700. Although the damage to the cruiser was minor, the British, after an inspection at Chatham, decided not to rebuild it. After this operation, the Schnellboots again ceased operations due to lack of fuel. Further, with bomber raids on Pola on February 7th, 13, 21, and 23, the Allies completely disabled the infrastructure of this port and destroyed the arsenal. Schnellboots were not damaged, but their mine-laying was done away with. A raid on Monfalcone on March 16th destroyed the last German repair base. Thank you for watching the video to the end. Don't forget to put a like and subscribe to the channel. It's important to me. See you soon.